All right. Hello, everybody. Camera number 2 in use today. We've got a special that we didn't have any. Are you looking at the right? Oh, we're on camera 1.
Uh-oh. I feel like Cindy Brady.
Camera 2. Special guest live in the studio. You may recognize Mrs. Smolin from Mrs. Smolin's kindergarten class at Lincoln Elementary in Hammond, Indiana. She's here to help out with our special teachers program, Teachers Edition. Say hello, Tammy.
Hi.
All right, perfect. We have got a lot to cover. Sorry we couldn't get to the music. But sorry, Mike Harmon, my musical director. We didn't have time to get the music queued up, but we are going to maybe have it at the bumper at the end. But otherwise, let's get right into our guests. Our first special guest on the show tonight, waiting in the virtual green room. Let's give a nice co-video live TV welcome to Principal Ryan Eckert from Jane Ball Elementary in Cedar Lake, Indiana. Hello, Principal.
Hello, Ryan.
All right. We are doing well. Hey, remember, it's camera 2, Tammy, and don't catch yourself looking at that for too long. All right, first thing, Ryan, I do have to take a quick look. The comments are over there, too, so we're just getting used to this. First, I'd like to say hello to our first guest who comments, Chandra Smolin, my sister. There's a lot of Smolins in the chat room, Ryan, you're going to learn on. And Disco Dawn Chaya, Tammy, relax. Apparently she can see right there. Just like the shirt says, let it go, let it go. Ryan, when we had planned to have some teachers on and do a special teachers program, we didn't know that today the governor was going to make a big announcement. You want to reveal that to people who didn't have a chance to hear it?
Yeah, big announcement this afternoon. The governor and the Secretary of Education for Indiana announced that no one will be going back to the school buildings for the rest of the year. We will all be learning from home.
Yeah, quite the opposite of the April Fool's joke that people were encouraged to pull on their kids, which was wake them up early yesterday and say the whole thing was a hoax and it's time to get back to school. How about we switch back to camera 1? Much better. Sorry, Ryan. Sorry, we're not giving you the best. You're still looking fantastic up there. So what can you tell us about your e-learning plans, or what have you guys been doing? What have you done? What are your experiences with e-learning, and how have you implemented them in this whole COVID-19 thing?
Yeah, so at Hanover Schools in Cedar Lake, we were planning getting ready for e-learning for next year. So in case there was a bad weather day next year, we would have plans in place, and kids and parents would know what to do for next year. So all of a sudden, when we found out we were going home and wouldn't be back at school after March 13th, we spent about a day really fast throwing all of those plans into high gear, and 3 days later started teaching kids online for the first time.
That was fast.
Yeah, that's quick. You're not hold on, you're no stranger to the online experience, being a young and hip principal. You do a regular Facebook experience for the kid, reading to them. Isn't that something you've been doing lately?
Yeah, that's correct. Every Monday night at 7:45, you can watch the Jane Ball Elementary Facebook page, and we do read-alouds every Monday night. And now that we don't go to school every day, we're doing those every weeknight at 7:45 for all the kids to tune in and get to see me and my kids and hear a fun story. So
you graciously accommodated us and made yourself available at 7:55. Did you have to speed read through the story to get to the end of it?
Yeah, we read a little fast tonight. The viewers might be wondering why it was so fast and there was less tonight.
No, perhaps you can mention that to them tomorrow. Why the important mission that you were on instead? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, very important place to be.
I think full disclosure here, Tammy, my in-studio guest to my left, my first wife, she used to actually work with you going way back before we even met, right? Right?
Yeah,
Before
that's
you
correct.
and I met? Yeah.
You can speak. You're not just saying
I know.
You guys can talk. I was hoping you would chat a little bit and it wouldn't be me. People are getting tired of seeing me.
Yes.
Yeah, my comment box said you need a co-host. So this is the trial right here.
Yeah, so Ryan and I started teaching together. How long ago was it now?
16 years.
16 years ago. We taught third grade together, me and Ryan and another teacher, Mrs. Kathy Cusick.
Hello to the Cusics.
I love my team and I love my friends at Lincoln, but me and Ryan and Kathy, we were the best team ever. And, you know, when we had scary crayfish crawling all around, Ryan came and
the best times
corralled them all.
The best times were when we got live animals shipped to us in boxes. And Tim started screaming every time they came, and I had to go open them for her.
Because they crawled out of the box. It was creepy. But funny thing is that I grew up with Ryan's wife, and Ryan's from the East Coast, nowhere from around here, and we ended up working together, and I've known his wife pretty much my whole life and his wife's family. So, yeah, weird connection.
True. It gets even weirder than that, because Ryan's wife, Carrie, her grandmother is my aunt, one of these fake aunts that hang around the family a lot, and then they become your aunt. So Aunt Dolores, my mom Dolores' good friend, was my Aunt Dolores, the Lampas, right? All right, we're getting way out into the weeds with some region genealogy there, aren't we? So besides the regular reading online, I know you're also a video producer, right? You find some time to do some video production for the school.
A little bit, not as high quality as Ron Smolin, but I try to dabble.
You make me jealous. I like to go live because it's easy. It's done. And I never really wanted to put the effort into producing, but you do a very good job at that with some of the stuff you guys do regularly. What was the latest one you did before the big shutdown?
We like to do music videos. Most recently, we've got teachers recording live announcements that they're doing that we're putting on our YouTube channel. Our school has a YouTube channel. And we really, really want to participate in driving our own neighborhoods since the school shut down and honk our horns and all that fun stuff. But because of the shelter in place, we're putting that on hold. So we put together a virtual parade on video that is also on our YouTube channels. So they enjoyed seeing us on video.
If we don't lift that idea from you sooner. Yeah, Tammy had the same idea with her friends of doing something for her school, but that was quickly, I thought, put down by
the parade.
Yeah, going through the neighborhood.
Our virtual thing is in the works, so All
right. So what products are you relying on to implement your e-learning there in the Hanover schools?
Great question. So 5th grade through 8th grade, 5th grade through 12th grade all has Chromebook computers, and they use the learning management system of Schoology. That's what all the teachers post their lessons on and all that type of thing. Elementary, we use Google Classroom, and so teachers post their assignments on those places, and then kids do the work. We're doing e-learning 4 times a week, so Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays with a Wednesday off.
Go ahead.
Do you have kindergarten in the Google Classroom as well?
We sure do, and they're rocking it.
Okay, because up until now, for us, for kindergarten, we've been doing e-learning for a few years, but we would always send packets because it was, scheduled ahead of time. And our kids, we don't have one-to-one in the classroom, Chromebooks or anything in kindergarten and 1st grade. So starting next week, this is all new. So it's been a challenge for us to get the parents on and get them figure out how to sign in. And luckily, a lot of the little kids have older brothers and sisters that have been doing it and can help. So we'll have to talk later. Yeah,
for sure. You mentioned skipping it 4 out of 5 days. Different people are doing a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or 4 days, or 1 week on, 1 week off. Where did you get the advice for going for that 4-day? How did you decide to go to that kind of schedule?
I think the thinking behind it was so that teachers have a day in the middle of the week to be able to plan lessons that are coming up. We don't want them to have to work on the weekends, even though all teachers do anyway. But then it kind of gives them a day off, and then gives kids a chance to catch up on the work too. We have a 3-day timeline that kids have to get the work done in. Mm-hmm. So teachers are available every day of those 4 days for 3 hours a day, but kids don't have to work during that time. They can get it done whenever it's most convenient for what's going on in their household.
Right. So I remember a couple weeks ago, when the governor initially announced this, they increased the number of days that you could. No, what they do, they gave 20 days of credit, right? 20 days of credit. So you're in the combination of working with those and e-learning, you still need to hit your full 180. Is that the magic number, 180 days of instruction?
Well, they changed it today. So 2 weeks ago, they gave the district or the state 20 waiver days. But then today, with the new guidance that came out, everybody's required to do 160 days. Or if you haven't hit that yet, you have to do 20 e-learning / distance learning days since you've been shut down.
Right. What would your advice be to parents who are now being the e-learning facilitators and playing teacher at home? What would you tell them?
Well, the same thing as I tell my wife every day.
I was just going to ask about that.
And I'm trying to to principal from my kitchen table, and she's trying to work from home from the kitchen table, and then we've got 3 kids trying to do their work, and then the 3-year-old wanting everybody to play with her. There was some first grade work today that I had trouble with, some pronoun work. So my recommendation to parents is just be patient. Most of the time the kids know what they're doing and don't really need help. So all of us at home as parents are a lot different than the kids' teachers anyway. And at home, we're nowhere near as patient as teachers are. Right. So let the kids try to figure it out themselves. And most places have teachers available for chatting or on the phone or whatever. And the kids will be able to get it done. And try not to be too hard on your kids, because they'll be okay and they'll get it done eventually.
At the same time, though, don't be the parent who's feeding the kid the answers, because they're not learning anything on that. Because I was thinking about that myself. How are these going to be valid grades on tests and quizzes if you trust that the kids didn't open the book or have the parents doing it for them, or an older brother or something? Any way to address that, or does it really come down to trust?
I think it does come down to trust. I'm not sure what it looks like 5th grade and higher, because that's not really my forte. But elementary wise, at least with what we're doing on Google Classroom, teachers can return the work to kids if it's not completed properly or not completed fully. So teachers have been giving a lot of feedback to kids, and we're kind of seeing the opposite, Ron, of what you're saying you could be afraid of, is kids are just breezing through it and need to spend more time on it. So while there may be a parent there, it doesn't seem like they're helping too much. The kids are just trying to get it done. So teachers are returning it to them and telling them, take another look at this and you can do better.
Yeah. So far, I mean, what do you think you've done right? What do you think if we're looking at this in another year and say, well, in 2020, what did we do right? What would your most proud thing be?
I think we're doing a really good job of communicating with parents. We've gotten a lot of feedback about our emails, our voicemails. I try to put out videos at least every other day, and just helping parents know that everything is going to be okay. Their kids are still going to learn. The whole country is going to be behind when they go back to school in August or September, whenever that is. So I think just communication to parents from the school has been really good from our school district.
All right. While you hang on the line, I'm going to look over here. Lincoln's Roaring News. Lincoln from Roaring News. I don't know who's manning that one there. They say videos in the works. Interesting. The parade is down. Dawn Chai is there. Annette. Annette is online. Your friend Annette, co-worker, right, Tammy?
Hi.
And Paige Brown, his first wife. Huh? She liked my joke. Thanks for catching that one. All right. Got to mention some of the people that are on.
Wait. And then Lincoln's Roaring News is asking you, Ryan, are there any teachers on Flipgrid that would want to be a Flipgrid partner with, it's Miss McGilvery, with her class?
Probably, yeah.
So get in touch with her about that. And then I see Dawn, my sister, trying to help Claire with her Google Class assignments, and she can't figure it out. So Dawn might need some help from us.
Maybe our next guest could help out. Ryan, we told you that we would...
no, I'm not done. You talked the whole time.
Oh, no, we're getting close to our halftime here.
So as you were saying, it's the hardest to teach your own kids, as I'm sure you know. And I've also been seeing a lot of stuff about don't be too hard on kids at this time. Not that they're not expected to do anything as far as schoolwork, but, this is traumatic for them as well. Especially I feel the little kids because I'm with the little kids, but, the seniors and everybody else. So not to expect nothing from them, but also to go easy on them and, let him do what is he making faces at me?
No, I was just doing a dramatic camera angle switch there to see how it worked, but all right.
Yeah, I know. I think you're right, Tammy. Yesterday, we're encouraging our families and kids to post lots of pictures of the different themes, especially we're doing this week, or them e-learning at home. And it hit home yesterday when a parent of a first grader posted a picture of a first grader sitting on his front porch, like in the swing, and he has a huge poster that says, "I miss my friend."
Oh. Yeah, I was honestly crying this afternoon when I was watching the superintendent.
Wasn't going to mention it. I wasn't going to name names, but people think that their children's teachers don't get attached to their students and don't really care about them. I had firsthand knowledge that one particular teacher was very upset that she will not be seeing her little kids the rest of the year.
And it's like, the snow days or the cold days, like, oh, I hope we get a snow day tomorrow. It was like, that wasn't the news I wanted to hear today. I'm not ready to not go back to school and have 4 months off. And I had a great class this year and great parents, great families. And I'm just, it's sad.
I'm sure you feel the same way, Ryan.
Definitely. It's something none of us have ever experienced. I don't think anybody ever thought they would experience. I think the most important thing is those kids are at home, and we have to find ways to reach out to them, communicate with them, to let them know it's going to be okay, that we still care about them, and we will see them again, and we're excited for when that will happen.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. We told you it'd be about 15 minutes. We went a little bit over. Appreciate your input here, Ryan. Hopefully we can check. Nobody said no yet. If it's live on TV, if someone says no, I'll be a little embarrassed. But hopefully we can check back in with you sometime again if this drags on.
Sounds good. You know where to find me.
And we will accommodate your immediately after your daily reading there. What is it? What was it called? What Facebook page is it?
Jane Ball Elementary School.
Right. Gotcha. All right. Thank you for joining us, Ryan.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
See ya.
All right. We're going to roll our guest out here and bring up the logo. We'll be right back with guest number 2.
Looking up there.
Oh, man, I got to reset my macros, a little inside baseball. All right, there we go. Back, camera 2. Back to Co-Video Live TV. You're now viewing episode number 17 right here on YouTube. We had our first guest there, Mr. Ryan Eckhart from Jane Ball Elementary in the Hanover Schools Corporation. We'd like to bring on our second guest of the evening. Let me bring in the audio. Let's give a nice Co-Video Live TV welcome to Melissa Dickelman. Hello, Melissa.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Also known as Miss D.
Miss D. Miss D is an intense interventions teacher at Griffith in the Griffith Public School System. I've worked with her on a few different things, but she's most notably a former teacher of our niece, Claire.
Yep.
Right?
Hi, Claire. If you're watching.
Hi, Claire.
We were going to save that till the end, but what the heck? So she's probably
Okay.
giggling right now.
We'll say hi twice.
So what's been going on at Griffith? What's been the approach at Griffith? What can you say about the e-learning?
Well, we've actually been really lucky that we've kind of been planning for something we didn't even know was going to happen for the last year and a half. Well, then in the 2 school years ago, we were able, luckily, to get one-on-one iPads for all our students throughout the district. So that was one of the first things we started working on was e-learning, so that in the hopes when all we had were our cold days or our snow days, we wouldn't have to actually make up the days at the end of the school year or take out extra vacation days. Not knowing that we would then have to
turn them into deadly virus days.
Right.
for 10 weeks at a time instead of just 1 or 2 days throughout the school year. So we have been lucky in that aspect that I think as a district, we are pretty prepared for at least the e-learning aspect of all this. So, and we have a pretty good IT department who have been almost a couple times a week, if not every day, been sending us new resources and things that we can use to help make this a smoother process for not just us in terms of teaching, but also the students and the parents and how they're going to learn the material that we're presenting to them. So
you got, you haven't really gone live. This week has been preparation, or we just started this week? What's the current schedule?
So we, the first week that all this started, which would have been about 2.5 weeks ago, was our first e-learning week. We took the first day, that Monday, we did we used one of our waiver days. So we went in, we kind of talked with the admin, learned how to Zoom meeting, do that. We kind of got ready for what was to come in terms of doing a whole bunch of e-learning. Then those 4 days we did e-learning. Then the next week was spring break. And then this week we used 5 days of waiver days. And so what Griffith is doing is we're doing 1 week on, 1 week off for the rest of the school year.
Okay.
So next week will be another e-learning week. Then we'll have Easter week off. Then we'll have another one, so on and so on until our school year would be over, which is at like the 29th of May, I think would have been our last school day.
Yeah,
So
would have been, right. You obviously knew that since the school year was completely canceled just today, Indiana joined, 11 other states? I think it's about 12 total that have canceled their school for the rest of the year.
yeah. Yep. Today, Governor Holcomb and Dr. McCormick, our state superintendent, said that we wouldn't be going back to school. And I know I can speak at least for all the teachers I have on Facebook that how heartbreaking it was for us to see that. It's not just vacation for us. I know I personally rather be in the classroom right now.
Too.
I miss my students like crazy. I'm lucky, I guess we have the technology we do now to still be able to see and talk to them, but it's not quite the same thing, versus being in person with them. My heart breaks for all the seniors, who don't get to go through that, like the last time with prom and, the last, weeks of leading up to graduation and things like that. And, so yeah, today was kind of like, we knew it was coming. And even knowing it was coming, it was still hard when we actually heard the announcement,
Yeah,
so
agreed. So as an intense interventions teacher, what kind of challenges does that present to you for your students as far as e-learning and keeping up with the work?
Yeah, so it's been a little interesting. It's kind of, for my kids, it's trying to make sure they remember what they're doing, making sure to constantly check things. It's even in some aspects trying to teach the parents how to do it. My students, some of them have more academic, cognitive deficits, so they might need more help with using their iPads or other things with their parents. So then it's kind of like I'm teaching two instead of just one. And I know that I've talked to some of my parents who've been a little frustrated with this, and across the board, like I know they're trying to do their best, but our program we're using is Power School. And so that's not always been working just because there's just been such a flooding of use, from everyone, everywhere, they just keep trying to fix it. And then that just frustrates us because we can't get things on, and frustrates the parents and the students because they can't get things on. But my kids seem to be taking it in stride. I've just trying to make it as easy for them as possible because I don't want them to get frustrated and then, have behaviors at home because they're getting upset, and I don't want to make things worse at home.
Understood.
With what
Are you, have you had any issues with, I don't want to talk particularly, but I know that some schools are opening up the school to give out equipment where people may not have a Chromebook or an iPad or something to keep up with the studies. And has Griffith been doing something like that?
Well,
we're actually lucky. We're already
One-to-one.
one-to-one.
so they
Oh,
get
that's
to
what
take
you
their
mean,
devices
one-to-one.
home.
Everybody across the district, kindergarten all the way through seniors, have a iPad. So yeah, we're like I said, we're really lucky that because I know I have a neighbor who works in Maryville, and they didn't let their kids take their books or their Chromebooks home. So now it's just kind of been a process of like, how are we going to get those out to all of them? Because I don't think when this started, anybody had any idea it was going to be, as massive as it is right now. So
Have you presented any recorded or live lessons, greetings, done anything like that yet?
I've done a couple Zoom meetings with my kids. The really nice thing, like I couldn't even fathom how we would have had to do this, without all this technology that we have, and think about when I was these kids' age, I'm like, would they have just sent home packets where we just have not had school,
Yeah.
So Zoom meeting, for those who don't know what that is, it's like lots of people use it for just meetings, like with their employees or with colleagues or whatnot. And they just get invited to a meeting, and then they all pop up on the, kind of like we are, but more than just two usually.
Like the Brady Bunch.
Yes, it is. Yeah, because you can have, I think, up to like 100 people on it at a time. I don't have that many kids, so I'm lucky we don't have to worry about that. And then you just kind of talk, and usually it's kind of crazy because, there's things going on in the background and stuff. I haven't taught that way, but I've used a lot of screen recordings, which is really cool. Like on my iPad or my laptop, I've like read the chapter that we're reading to that, like that I want them to read, so they don't have to, and then they just follow along. And then as I'm reading it, I just add stuff in that I might have added on while I was in class. The only thing that is it's really hard to be like, get the feedback from the kids to know, like, do I have to stop and, explain it more? Are they getting it? And that's where you kind of hope the parents are like near them to help out with that kind of stuff. So,
right.
Now, how have you, like IEPs are legal documents. So if you have them coming up, how are you allowed to have a face-to-face meeting, or is just everything changing because of this whole situation?
Yeah. So I actually have my first one tomorrow.
Okay.
We had initially talked about maybe doing a Zoom meeting, but then we were worried too much about HIPAA and like the privacy acts and laws and stuff. So we're just doing phone conferences. So we'll just call the necessary people. I have our exceptional learners director, Anthony, is kind of the one who chairs that for us, which is really nice. And then we'll call the parent, and then we've gotten info from the gen ed teacher and stuff ahead of time. So it just kind of, I will see tomorrow how that all works. But I think it's just kind of like if we had a phone conference with the parent at school, because we can do that. I'm thinking it's just kind of the same thing. We'll just all won't be the same.
Right.
But they're not giving us any leeway when it comes to making sure those IEPs are compliant. They have to be done. They have to be, followed as best, if they're supposed to be getting services, we have to be giving them services as best we can. We have to be a little creative when it comes to that. But I think when talking about special ed, that's where like having some issues with it, trying to make sure kids are getting speech, OT,
right,
PT.
that's my next question.
That look,
Yeah.
How does OT look when it's a very hands-on service? You
Exactly.
can't. It's just, this is where it talks. You just got to start being creative with how, you're wanting to do that, because they're expecting us to still provide these services. So,
hey, Ms. D, Dawn Chaya says some people may not know what an IEP is. Maybe tell us.
Oh, okay. So an IEP is called an individualized education plan. It's for students who have a disability, and this is talking about the gamut, whether it be like a speech, learning, learning disability, like they just need help in reading or math, things like that. Autism,
Emotional.
cerebral palsy, emotional disability, all those kinds of things. And in the IEP, it goes over the student's strengths and weaknesses. We give them specific goals we want them to work on over the IEP year, because each one is a whole year long, before we have to then have another meeting and change everything.
All right, you ready?
Except for I can't see it like I did before.
There you go.
So weird.
All right. I believe we are back on the air. I hope so. Let me go to camera 2. What happened was we had a power outage. If somebody in the comments could say something, it's probably going to be about 30 seconds to see if they are seeing us live back on again. The last comment I see up is when people may not know what an IEP is.
This happened to me today at Strax in St. John.
Yeah.
I was in line.
All right. I believe that we are on. If I switch my monitor, if I switch the screen away from Skype to go check the live studio again, but I believe that we are still holding the stream back on YouTube. So apparently the screen froze solid. That's what Dawn said. So St. John, Indiana had a power outage. What were we talking about? An IEP at the time, weren't we?
We were kind of talking about what an IEP is. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not laughing at IEPs. I'm laughing at just rolling with a complete power outage. All right. So you were saying about IEPs.
Yeah. So pretty much it's what we talk about. I guess I wish I could show you the graphic of it, because it's the best way I feel like an IEP is used for a student. It's a picture of these kids who are on a fence trying to watch a baseball game. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it's each kid's 3 different heights, right? So one kid can see, one kid can't see, and the other kid, he's like half the height of the fence. So, and what an IEP does, it's like giving those kids the boxes they would need to make it not fair, but it make it equal. And that's what we want an IEP to do. If a kid needs a little extra help with, their math or reading homework, so be it. If they need to be in a different classroom, that's what they need. So it's giving those students who need that extra assistance or supports what they need to make and become a successful student. And that's ultimately what we're looking for all our kids, is for them to be successful. So
that's a great explanation. I like that. And I used to teach special ed, and, we have all different kinds of kids in our general ed classrooms, and that's a good explanation. Thank you.
Whew, all right. So yeah, you didn't even get to say goodbye to our friend. But hold on, I just remembered. I'm looking at my meeting notes here. You did want to mention one thing about something that you maybe were hopeful would be different, or some silver lining out of what was going on with the whole COVID lockdown e-learning thing.
Yeah. So from a teacher's perspective, and from what I've been seeing, over the last, this is my 7th year teaching. So, it's not for very long. I know Tammy's probably been teaching way longer than I have, but
just add 20.
So I noticed that we've had this just disconnect between the community and school. And I'm really hoping that everything that's happened, parents needing to rely on teachers and teachers relying on admin, and all of us just kind of relying on each other will kind of maybe open up that need that, school is important, and that community part in there is also important. And we just kind of all need to remember that and be there for each other. And, that's the only way we're going to get through this. And that's the only way our kids are going to be successful in the future, is if, not even once this is going to be done, we're going to be, we're going to get back to normal, or new normal, whatever that is.
New normal.
Yeah.
We're going to have, 2020, 2021 is going to be next year, but are we going to have learned from anything that, has happened? Are we going to just write off teachers? Are we going to, write off administration? Are we going to, write off parents as being needy or, not caring? And so I'm hoping all of this stuff from everybody's perspective is just going to teach us, that this isn't going to be successful unless we're all working together and we're all on the same page and we're all unified front, for these things. So I'm really hoping, you want to look at silver linings for things happening. I'm really hoping that is going to be one of them, in terms of education, at least. So.
Oh yeah, but it goes well beyond that too, because we all know we can all play a part in flattening the curve here, and looking out for each other, and trying to get back to this new normal, or whatever normal is going to be, by minimizing our outside, staying home, observing the Hoosier hunker down, right? So doing what we all can to make this go a little better.
And it's I think, Melissa, like you were saying, it's almost like everything happens for a reason. Education was kind of hitting rock bottom, and sometimes it seemed like parents against teachers and teachers against administration and all that. But I've seen, and my way to the outside world now is Facebook, and I know, consider your source or whatever, but I've seen a lot of parents saying how much more respect they have for teachers now, and how they understand, and teachers should be paid way more than they are. And it's also the same, with families too. It's you have time to be closer together, time to spend more time together. And so it's almost everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
All right, Ms. D, is there anybody that you want to say hello to before we cut out? Well,
Sure.
Before we do a controlled cutout.
Okay. Well, I want to say hi to Claire again and Dawn, because they're the ones that helped me get on here with you. So thank you
Yay.
guys for that. And thank you guys again for having me.
Yes.
I have to say hi to all my kids. I love you all. I miss you all. I can't wait. Hopefully, maybe we can get together over the summer, try and do something. I don't know. We can't wait till next year. I don't think I can wait that long.
I know.
We'll have our Zoom meetings, but that's just not the same. I need hugs from all of you. So, and I definitely miss all my colleagues and all the people I work with at Griffith. So I can't wait to see all you guys again too. So,
Yay.
yeah.
Well put. Hey, thank you for coming on. Hopefully we can ring you up again and get your input a few weeks in, or closer to the end of the school year. All right. Thank you for coming on, Melissa.
Bye, Melissa.
Welcome. Thanks, guys.
Bye now.
Bye.
All right, we'll roll her out audio-wise.
You're
I'll
gonna
get her
blame that
off
on
the
me now,
screen
aren't
there.
you?
I was just going to say that. Let me go back to camera 2. Tammy comes on the show. I get the co-host that I've been hoping for.
Oh, me?
Yeah. And what happens? The power shuts off.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank everybody for hanging in there, I guess. It looks like we've got most of the viewers still sticking who stuck around. That was something. Everything shut off. Everything shut off. It got very quiet in the Co-Video Live TV studios.
Sure
Our
did.
son came busting through
What
to
happened?
say, what's going on? What's going on? But we are clear. We're back. That was pretty quick. I guess that was a good lesson for us to learn how quickly we could get back up on our feet and get things going again. All right, Tammy, anything to say? Any reflections on your first show here?
Hi to everybody. Again, my
Mhm.
Lincoln friends, Chandra, sisters-in-law, sister, my family. Thanks for watching.
All right.
Ron's family, Ron's friends,
All right.
all y'all out there.
Okay. All right. And on that note, we are going to drop right out. Hopefully you can tune in tomorrow.
He'll have his second wife on tomorrow.
It could be. Co-Video Live TV episode number 18 coming up tomorrow on Friday. Weekend schedule to be determined due to some internal requests around here. We may be taking a day off and getting back at it in another day. No more than one day off on Co-Video Live TV
We've
because
got lots of projects to finish around here.
but we feel we're providing a service to the community in these uncertain and crazy kind of times. Chandra Smolin says, love the co-hosting. I think I may have found a permanent co-host here.
Yay.
So, all right, without any more there, I'm going to roll up the logo. I think this should go right. Turn that one off. Turn this one on. We'll see you all